In today's video, I'm giving you the top 10 dumbbell exercises you should be adding to your routine in the gym. Whether you're a beginner or an expert in the gym, incorporating one or more of these exercises to your routine will definitely add to your workout. Dumbbells can be a great asset if you have any strength imbalances and can correct those by not allowing one side to help the other compared to working with a barbell. So in no specific order, let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening.
For number one, we have the incline dumbbell bench press. There was a study done back in 2020 where putting the bench at just a 15-degree incline massively engaged the upper pec while only slightly lowering the engagement of the middle pec. Between the incline dumbbell bench press versus the flat dumbbell bench press, the incline bench press is superior. Notice the bench is at about 15 degrees and that my butt is glued to the chair. There's nothing wrong with doing an incline barbell bench press first, especially to gain size. If you only have dumbbells, they are still just as good. I would recommend doing this first or second in your chest routine. If you're new to the gym, I have a chest workout video that I designed just for beginners that you can go check out. In number two, we have the dumbbell squat. There's a few variations that you can do with the dumbbell squat. The first one is the dumbbell goblet squat. The second one is the front squat. And then the third variation is the sumo squat. All of these variations emphasizes the quads more than the glutes and hamstrings, so it's a good idea to add another exercise that engages the glutes and hamstrings more than the quads.
That's a great idea.
The goblet squat is a good exercise for beginners as well as people who may have shoulder issues, because bringing up dumbbells to your shoulders may be harder for you compared to leaving it in front of your chest. When doing the goblet squat, it's important not to lean too far forward and to keep the weight close to your body. The goblet squat or any of these could be a good finisher to your workout. However, if you are more advanced, you may be limited by the amount of weight you can hold. If you feel comfortable with bringing the dumbbells up to your shoulders, then that brings me to the next variation, which is the dumbbell front squat. The dumbbell front squat brings both of the weights onto your shoulders and may feel more comfortable compared to the goblet squat. The dumbbells on your shoulders is another variation that you can do if for whatever reason the goblet squat may feel uncomfortable to you. Again, most of the work on these exercises will be coming from the quads. I do recommend doing these exercises closer to the end of your workout if you are able to do barbell squats first. The last variation is the sumo squat. The sumo squat is really good for people who may have bad knees. And not only does it work the quads, it also engages the adductors as well. With the sumo squat, you can't notice it in this video, but make sure your feet are pointed outward. This will make the movement feel more comfortable, and the feet pointing outward is what takes the stress off the knees. All three of these variations have slight pros and cons, but it really all comes down to how comfortable you feel doing the movement. But let's talk about an exercise that engages the glutes and hamstrings more than the quads, the dumbbell Romanian deadlift. When trying to engage your glutes or hamstrings, it's a really good idea to add a hip hinge movement to your leg exercises. And the dumbbell Romanian deadlift is good not only if a barbell isn't available, but you can also emphasize one leg more than the other by just stepping one foot slightly back and using only one dumbbell. The Romanian deadlift is pretty simple. Make sure most of the movement is coming from the hips and not the knees. Depending on if your hamstrings are weaker than your quads, this wouldn't be a bad exercise to incorporate or earlier into your workout. Number four is the dumbbell prone grip or palms down row. Prone grip or palms down row emphasizes the middle of the back compared to a neutral grip where it engages more of the lats. This one you can do in two separate ways. You can either do the row laying down on a bench or you can do it standing up and bent over. Both variations have slight pros and cons. With the bench, you can stabilize yourself and really make sure that you're engaging only the back. Whereas not using a bench, you can bring the dumbbells all the way to the ground and get more of a stretch into the movement. The good thing about the bent over row is you do get a little bit more range of motion. Here you can see I'm bringing the weight all the way back down onto the floor. Technically, that changes the name of the bent over row to sort of a dead row, but the name isn't that important as long as you can remember what to do. I recommend doing these earlier into your workout when you can lift some heavier weight first. Not much of an explanation here, just lie face down on the bench and bring the dumbbells to you. Because you are taking out the stabilization aspect of the row, really try to focus on the movement and feeling it in between your shoulder blades. And for that reason, I recommend doing these a little later into your workout. If you do decide to use the bench, I would recommend making sure you go slow on lowering of the exercise because you don't get as much range of motion. If there's a dumbbell exercise you're looking for that engages more of the lats, that brings me to number 5, which is the dumbbell pullover. When you're doing back exercises, it's important to add one horizontal movement as well as one vertical movement. The row is a horizontal movement, so the dumbbell pullover will be a vertical movement, engaging the lats more than the middle of the back. This exercise gives you a really good stretch in the lats, so it's important to focus more on the stretch than the contraction. If you enjoy any of these exercises, make sure you like the video as well as subscribe so that you keep getting more videos just like this. Some say this is a chest and a back exercise as well. I've never felt it in my chest as much as I do my back. I would recommend doing this exercise later into your workout. It's more isolated, and it's also important not to let your ego get to you and go a little lighter on the weight. On to number 6, we have the dumbbell shoulder press. For the dumbbell shoulder press, I recommend it seated instead of standing. I have the bench pretty far back, maybe at a 70-degree incline compared to the more popular 90-degree incline. For me, I don't see any downsides from doing the 70-degree angle compared to the 90-degree angle. I would do this first in your workout if you are doing shoulders, but if you're doing a push day, maybe one of the first 3 exercises. At number 7, we have the incline dumbbell curl. The incline dumbbell curl really focuses on the stretch portion of the bicep, because not only is it stretching at the elbow joint, it's also stretching at the shoulder joint, because the arm is behind you instead of in front of you. The incline curl is very isolated compared to something like the barbell curl, where the more tired you get, the more likely you are to move other parts of your body. I would recommend doing this as a finishing bicep move. If you want to add intensity, the Athlete X channel mentions sitting up while you bring the curl up and laying down while you're moving the dumbbell down. At number 8, we have the incline tricep extension. Putting the bench at an incline helps you get more of a stretch in the long head of the tricep compared to laying flat. On the incline tricep extension, try to choose a lighter weight just so you can focus on only moving the tricep instead of trying to compensate when you fatigue. I would recommend doing this exercise closer to the end of the workout because you won't be lifting much weight with it. At number 9, we're going back to our legs with the Bulgarian split squat. I prefer the split squat over the lunge because it takes out any compensatory movement that you may feel when you begin to get tired. Unlike when you do lunges, where if you get tired, you may use the other leg to push off the bottom of the movement. This is such a brutal exercise for me when I do my legs, so I make it one of my first 3 exercises. If you go low enough, you can really engage the hamstrings and glutes more than if you stay parallel or don't even squat to parallel. And at number 10, we have the dumbbell hammer curl. This is kind of a bonus dumbbell exercise for me because it does add a little bit more forearms compared to doing a regular bicep curl. And it also adds an extra intensity to your bicep routine because you can superset it with a regular dumbbell or bicep curl. With the hammer curl, you are able to lift a little bit more weight, so it's a good finishing move in case you want to do a bicep exercise and then you can follow it up with a hammer curl exercise. This is a simple one, but it's important to add it into your bicep workout if you're also trying to work out your forearms. I would recommend supersetting it with a regular curl, or if by itself, one of your first 3 bicep exercises. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.